there's nothing that will ever prepare you for that feeling, to know that you're carrying life inside of you, and then you have to make the decision to end that life.
Look at this dude.
Don't ever do that.
Oh, let me put on that. Anyway, this is our pregnancy story and how we found out my beautiful girlfriend's pregnant.
At that point, well, I'll give you a little background. So me and Malcolm met at UNC, which is University of Northern Colorado, not the one in North Carolina. But yeah, we both played basketball there. And then we got together, ended up transferring here to Pueblo. And yeah, so we were both playing basketball here as well. And then the summer came, and you know, life just got crazy. We were just enjoying the summer, to be honest. And yeah, things happened, you know.
Speaking of which, so Alicia was feeling a little bit woozy, I guess.
I wasn't feeling woozy. Let me tell it, because Malcolm don't really know. What happened was, I was kind of inconsistent with the whole birth control thing, even though I should have been, because, you know, I'm in college, I'm playing basketball in the nursing program, don't have time for a baby. And I have a puppy. So he's basically a baby already. And so I was inconsistent with that. And we were still doing what we were doing. And then I ended up being late, and that never ever happens. My period's always on time. Like, I have the little period tracker app, always on the day that it says it's supposed to come. So I think I was around like 3 days late, and I told him I was kind of nervous because I just had this feeling. It was, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like I knew something was off, and I felt like the same physically, but just like in my soul, I knew something was different.
Yeah, and like before we had somewhat of an incident before, and it was like probably, I told her she was probably stressed. So I was like, yeah, it might be stressed, but just make it like it's stress since we're not really ready for a baby yet.
Yeah, he tried to play it off and just brush it off like it was nothing, but I was pretty sure. And so he took me to get the pregnancy test, and I ended up taking them in the locker room because I had to go to the gym because it was over the summer, you know, like you have summer camps and you work the camps and the clock and stuff. So I was supposed to be there for like the rest of the day. So I was like, I'll just take it, put my mind at ease, and I'll be chilling. And I remember when I saw it, because I've taken pregnancy tests before, because like you said, like it's happened before, but I saw that it was positive, and I've never been so scared in my entire life. I was shaking in the locker room. And so I took both, because it came with two, and I took both tests, both said positive. And so I knew, and I remember like thinking like, God, like, what am I about to do? And so I went out of the locker room and into the locker room, and my teammate was there, one of my closest friends, and I told her first because I was freaking out, I didn't know what to do, and she ended up covering for me. She got somebody to cover for me, and so we just left the gym. And I just remember sitting in the car thinking like, what am I about to do? And so then I told Malcolm. I went over to his apartment and I told him, because what else was I supposed to do? And so after that,
I was freaking out.
He was freaking out.
I was, okay, first when she told me, I was trying to act cool. I was like, oh, okay, it's the baby. Okay.
He didn't act cool at all.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't. I know.
Okay, in like an hour it hit me. Then I haven't cried in like,
I've never seen Malcolm cry before this. Ever in like, it's almost been like 2 years now, and I've never ever seen Malcolm cry. And
the funny thing was, it's like, you know how your parents are. They get angry at you, and that's what I was scared of. And we both really didn't have much money except for the scholarship money that we got. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, neither one of us have ever had a job. Like, we've just living off of scholarships and then the little money you ask for your parents to send you every now and then for gas and food. But a baby, like, nobody's about to fund that. And so we were just stressed. It was very, very scary.
And she doesn't like crying in front of me, but as soon as I left, and then she started
Yep,
just crying.
I started crying because I knew from his reaction, like, it wasn't about to be good. And so I was scared, and I felt like what to expect out of this whole situation. And I'm not gonna say I know for sure what God has next, but it's like the support system that I do have, like we've been able to talk and figure everything out, and everything's gonna be just fine. Like I still get to sit and support my team, and I'll still get my baby, and everything's gonna be okay, you know. Just prayed about it, and God worked it all out. So I'll be returning next season, and I'm gonna be able to. The cool thing about it is the baby's gonna come in February on the 27th. Well, sometime around there.
At late end of February. We're gonna say end of February.
Yeah, whenever they're ready to come. But so then I'll have like the whole summer to work out and get back in shape. And I'm young, so it's not like I'm 21. We're both young. 21. He's 22. He's older than me. He has like a good 6 months on me. But anyway, yeah, I'm still young. I'm in great shape. Even now, I don't feel like I'm gaining like a crazy amount of weight. There's like no other option. I always used to joke like with my teammates, even like if I got pregnant, I'm killing it instantly. Like automatic abortion. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, but yeah, it was always my plan if I was to ever get pregnant, especially like we're not married, and I came from like a religious background. You're not supposed to be having sex before marriage anyway. And so like a baby before marriage, like I was like, there's no way I can do that. And it just, things got, I don't know, things were just different when you're actually pregnant. Like there's nothing that will ever prepare you for that feeling, to know that you're carrying life inside of you, and then you have to make the decision to end that life. And it's like, even though the situation wasn't ideal, like it's not what I wanted, it's not what he wanted, but it was just hard to come to a decision. So for a while I was kind of back and forth, and like I made like 2, maybe 3 appointments throughout this pregnancy, like before I finally decided. And like,
yeah, so we telling people, we basically told like our closest people. Like I told my brother and my cousin, and then she told her sisters. So those were the only people that knew at that point in time.
Actually, I told my sisters, and then I had my teammate who knew already, and then maybe like 2 other friends. But yeah, people like I trusted and I needed to hear from. Like people who I knew could give me some solid advice, and everybody always says the same thing, like just do what you feel is right. And that's not what I need to hear. I need to hear like go to the clinic or keep the baby. So all of this happened over the summer, and so Malcolm ended up going home because he had already scheduled a flight to go home because he lives in California, and I live in Colorado. So yeah, he went home and I went home, and I finally told my mom. And my mom's the type of person, if you know my mom, you know, she knows everything. She's experienced so much. She's just so wise.
Check out her book in the description. We'll link it down.
Yeah, it's actually a really good read. You should check it out if you feel like you're struggling in life, or if you just want to like, better yourself. It's a good book to read. But yeah, so like my mom's been through everything. And so she kind of knew, like I was like, Mom, I need to talk to you. And she was like, you're pregnant. And I was like, dang, like you can't even let me get it out. Like how you already know. But yeah, I had to tell her that, and just really scared to tell my dad. That's the one. My dad, he's like this big old ex-NFL football player, like no nonsense, grew up in the South. Like he jokes around a lot, but he means business, especially when it comes to us. And so I was not only scared for myself, but I was scared for Malcolm too. I was kind of glad that Malcolm was, out of reach. He was in California, just because I didn't know how everything was going to go down. But yeah, like my mom was trying to help me figure it out. And she says it was an accident, but she ended up telling my dad, like he found out through my mom. And he called me up there to their room, and I was shaking. Like I did not know what to expect. But it was actually a really great conversation. He was super supportive, and he told me like what he thought I should do, and yeah. So that actually ended up working pretty well for me.
So I ended up telling my parents, and my mom, like I told my mom first, and she was like, "You're joking. Like, stop playing with me." Like how most people would when you say pranking, you're usually pranking them. I was like, "No, I'm serious." It's like, "Okay, stop joking." I was like, "No, I'm serious. Alicia's pregnant." She was like, "Oh." And she was just shocked for a second. And like, I'm like, yeah, so now I gotta tell dad. I don't know how I'm gonna tell dad. And she's like, yeah, you just gotta work up the courage to tell him that. So I told my dad. He had mixed emotions because he was cool, but then like he wasn't cool, but then he was cool again. But he's overall cool with it now. So, but he just said you just gotta support her in her decision, whatever she does. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. So yeah, that's how I told my parents.
Yeah, so it kind of all fell back onto me, which, that's usually how it works nowadays. Especially, oh my gosh, I forgot. This is like when Roe versus Wade had just, like, the decision had just started coming out.
Oh my God.
And so we were like, we don't have time for this. Like, we gotta make a decision now before it's just like banned everywhere. But thank God we live in Colorado, so even if I decided, honestly, right now I could go get it done, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, we obviously decided to keep the baby. We're super excited. I am super excited. Like, I'm at the point now where I can feel the baby move all the time, and it's so cool. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's really the coolest thing to know that, like, obviously I knew before, but like now I really, really know. And I never had like morning sickness. The only thing I really experienced was fatigue, but I haven't had any issues. And so at first I was kind of like, is this real? And then we went to our appointment. I went by myself first with my mom because he was in California, but the second appointment was the cooler one anyway, so he didn't miss anything. And like you could actually see like the little baby inside. I think we made the right decision.
I'm excited. Most people my age probably wouldn't be excited, but I'm very excited. So, yeah.
I think it's one of those things like you never know until you actually experience it. Because like I said, like I was all for like no babies, like not doing it, don't care. Like nothing could ever change my mind. But look at me now.
We're very grateful though with our support system that we have.
Yeah.
We only need a core group of people that we have. So yeah, we're just very excited and thank y'all for the support. Like and subscribe, comment down if you have any ideas what you want to see from us. We'll be doing this consistently, so thank you.